Here's the stream. First thing I want to talk about today is the new Kaneki perks. Also, I want to talk about the pentimento changes. And there's actually like kind of a connection between the pentimento changes and the Kaneki perk Hex Nothing But Misery. And the connection there is Hex Nothing But Misery is in some ways so bad that even pentimento as it is now isn't very valuable regarding the new Hex perk. And then with a nerf on top of it, it is even less of insurance to protect Hex Hex Nothing But Misery. But I do want to say this. Hex Nothing But Misery has a very, 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 very easy buff. A very easy buff that I believe if they implemented, I do not believe would be overpowered. And I do believe would be fair. And I don't actually think that even survivors would be bothered by this. Talking about new killer perks. Pentimento. Okay. So all you have to do to make Hex Nothing But Misery playable is just reduce the amount of times you have to end one person by 50%. That's all you have to do. A 50% reduction 4 times. If you hit someone 4 times if you're not playing hit and run, we're assuming you have 2 hooks, right? Then it operates, and then the survivors can look for the hex totem. I don't think that that's OP. I think in the state it is now, with 8 M1s, it makes it where if anybody's run this perk, you understand this and you experience this, even with killers that only use an M1. That it is basically an end game perk. And in an end game perk, as I was saying before, not even pentimento can really be used as insurance. It's similar to NOED. No one uses pentimento to guard for NOED because it would be completely useless because you're not getting a repair speed reduction. I honestly, sure that this is. I honestly believe that all they need to do to make Hex Nothing But Misery better is just reduce the amount of N1s by 50%. I think you might actually have a good perk. So in the future, one of the things they're changing on the PTB is hindered and haste stacking. I think that if you had something like what do you call the perk? Rapid brutality mixed with a Hex Nothing But Misery that only took 4 M1 hits to activate, that might actually be a pretty decent combo. So I played Wraith and I played Rapid Brutality and Nothing But Misery with 2 add-ons that made it where it's quicker for him to cloak, quicker for him to uncloak. There was one chase where I got value out of it, and I hit someone after they hindered right before they got to a window. It's very infrequent that you would get value from nothing but misery currently. But if you reduced it by 4 M1s, I would imagine you would at least get 3 or 4 sequences of value with that perk. Possibly, theoretically. You know you would increase the value. Every, essentially everybody that has used the perk has found it to be pretty bad. There's been exceptions that I've seen with YouTubers, but they convolute it because anytime you're testing a variable, if you add 2 or 3 other variables, you kind of muddy the waters as far as what that variable is doing. They're also running stuff like batteries included. They're also running stuff like rapid brutality. They're also running stuff like what's the singularity perk when you down people, and then you get a massive hindered for people in the radius. I just feel like they could save the perk by just making a very, very simple buff. Um, let me see. Let me look for. I gotta find the name of the other Kaneki perk. I have kind of a excellent forever entwine and none are free. I think it's none are free. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, unique perks. Yeah, it's none are free. You know better than anyone that the light at the end of the tunnel is only an illusion. Does anyone know actually if these are like I'm not wrong? What's wrong is this messed up world? Is that stuff directly from the anime or the manga? Does anyone know if they're just like putting words in their mouth? I'm not sure if these are actually quotes from things because anytime IP is quoted, it's not something iconic that I ever remember anybody saying. I'm not sure about that. Does he say that? I'm not wrong. What's wrong is this messed up world. I actually, why the hell not? I want to actually see if you can find him saying that. Ghoul anime. What's the wording? I'm not wrong. What's wrong is this. It's basically society. I'm not wrong. Messed up. Oops. Messed up world. Tokyo Ghoul quotes. This has probably got copyright stuff on it. I'm actually curious about this. Let's see if I can get a quote. What's it? Kaneki. I'm not wrong. Is that a meme? I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole here real quick. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is that might be copyright? I don't want to deal with flags. You're wrong. It's not the world that's messed up. It's those of us in it. What? Wait, you're wrong. It's not the world that's messed up. It's those of us in it. I'm not wrong. What's wrong is the messed up world? Is this like Danny DeVito's Penguin, where first he's like, I'm not an animal. I'm a human being. And then later the guy's like, hey, Cobblepot. He's like, I'm the penguin. I'm not a man. I'm an animal. Like, is he like somehow contradicting himself here? I'm not wrong. What's wrong is this messed up world. You're wrong. It's not the world that's messed up. It's those of us in it. Or is this like he comes to terms? Like he's a external attribution guy, and then he becomes an internal attribution guy. I'll show you what I mean. Internal attribution and external attribution. And that would represent dynamic growth in the character. That would be the definition of a character that dynamically grows. Attribution theory is the study of how people explain the causes of behavior and events. Right? It's either my fault or the world's fault. Internal attribution refers to personal factors such as traits, abilities, feelings, while external attribution refers to situational factors. Examples of internal and external attribution include internal attribution. We're more likely to attribute internal, stable, and controllable causes to our own failures. I'm just not good at math. External attribution. We're more likely to attribute external, unstable, and uncontrollable causes to the failures of others. The presentation was ruined by the prediction. Right. Oh, this also deals with attribution theory. We're more likely to see people doing wrongly as it's their internal attribution. You know what I'm more looking for? Even though this is related. Wait a second. Maybe this is more related than I thought it was. Because wasn't he talking to somebody else? You're wrong. It's not the world that's messed up. He's talking to somebody else. It's your fault. It's not the world. And then over here, I'm not wrong. It's the world. It is. Look at this. It's by fucking definition, actually. Look at this. So I would argue that's what we call good writing. That's something that is documented psychology is actually shown through the character. When somebody else complains, they say you blame the world. It's not the world. It's in us. And then for him, he says, "I'm not wrong. It's the world." Am I wrong here? Because I haven't researched the context of these quotes, but the quotes seem to speak for themselves when it comes to attribution theory. Oh, that rabbit hole. Look at all the carrots inside the rabbit hole. It's like attribution theory and the writing of Tokyo Ghoul. Now, does this have to do with the balancing of perks? No, it does not. Do we go further down the rabbit hole? I guess if I went further down the rabbit hole, what I could do is look up the context of this. Nah, we're just going to go with the game. We're going to go with Dead by D. Okay. Anybody notice none are free? Okay. Anybody notice none are free? Has anyone used it significantly? Because for one, I love endgame perks. I don't know what it is, but I actually really enjoy using endgame perks with Legion. I like using Terminus, which is kind of a underpicked perk. I'm not saying it's pain res. I'm not saying it's corrupt intervention, but what I am saying is underrated because you'll get to the end game as someone like Legion or someone like Plague, and now they can't heal. You can put on that pressure before they open the gates. So I love end game builds, so I wanted to use this. This perk very, very similarly to Hex Nothing But Misery, is almost good. The problem is, so what do we got? 16 seconds for every token, and similar to No Way Out or Pain Res, you get a token for every time you've hooked somebody for the first time. Of course, on Pain Res, it's a scorch hook, and on No Way Out, it's any hook, but that's besides the fact. This would be more like No Way Out, where it could be any hook, not just scorch hooks. So you get 16 seconds divided by or multiplied by 4, right? So you get a bit. You get about 64 seconds. You get about a minute. I will tell you that sounds good on paper, but this has been my experience. The max amount of um value I have gotten from this, it will lead to me getting a down. I remember I was it Auto Haven? Yeah. It's Auto Haven because it had that. It was the Auto Haven version where you had the gas station, right? The main building. We were on the side of that, and because the pallet was blocked, I got an easy down. Okay. Here is the problem with none are free. None are free. You get a down, you get value. Now you got a hook. I picked them up. I walked to a hook and I watched the timer seem like it leaped forward and then suddenly nothing was blocked. It led to a down, which is cool, and sometimes that could be clinch. But I almost feel like, you know what you could do to improve this? You don't even necessarily need to increase the seconds. What if when you pick up a survivor, it freezes the timer, similarly to how Myers, uh, how his when he's in tier 3 is paused when you're picking people up. Like I feel like it's close to being good, but I mean, it almost encourages you to slug, right? So I had thought that when I downed the person, the most value I've gotten out of the perk, if I slug this person, I might get more value out of none or free. If they want to lead people away from slugging, I actually think that this perk would be borderline problematic. But the problem is it's not so good that it would become problematic. And then someone would say, well, if you made it stronger, oh, that would make it less problematic. Make it where when you pick people up, it stops the timer. Anytime you have a survivor picked up, it stops the timer on none or free. I think that would be good. That would be a good buff to make it more runnable. Hex Nothing But Misery, very, very simple. Make it from 8 times to 4 times. Then we got some workable perks here. I think at least Hex Nothing But Misery and None Are Free are cool concepts. I really do. I think that they're cool concepts that have potential. But I do not believe that the numbers suffice. Now, Forever Entwined. I have not used this yet, and I'll tell you why very quickly. Whenever a survivor takes damage, Forever Entwined gains 1 token up to a maximum of 7 8 tokens. 8 tokens. Increase your action speed for dropping, hooking, and picking up a survivor by a stackable 4% per token. 32%. Guys, I wanna ask you a question. If you want to answer chat if anyone's watching. Hooking. You mean when you're in front of the hook and you press the button? Because as far as like flashlight blinds go and all that kind of stuff, if you're already in the hooking animation, they can't blind you out of it. What does a 32% of the hooking, which is basically like, what is that doing for anybody? I mean, that's so minute, and it doesn't seem to be linked into any other of the game mechanics so that would even matter. Now, picking up a survivor, you could say you pick them up 32% faster. It's harder for people to get flashlight saves. This is kind of like if you had dental work to do, and someone said this toothpick might be able to help you. Dude, we have a thing called dentists, and we have a thing called like dental tools. It's called like Franklin's or Lightborn. I don't see why something like picking up a little faster. It's kind of like where I don't get fire up. I, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, this perk, Forever Entwined, or do you mean Franklin's or if won't really help against flashbangs though? This perk, Forever Entwined, it might throw off the timing. It might throw off the timing just like it might throw off the timing for a flashlight. Right. So survivors are used to a certain flow of the time. They're waiting behind a rock, right? You pick somebody up. They're used to the timing when they grunt and their shoulders up and they're like this before they go like this. It's usually the timing for a flashbang. If he goes like this versus it might throw off their timing. However, you could use it for value against flashbangs and flashlights theoretically. But it's so like throwing off their timing versus taking off an item. Say use Franklin's. I know from experience using Franklin's, not only are you dramatically gonna mess with them getting flashlight saves, because flashlight savers are in your face. They will take a hit. Flashlight savers, like a lot of these guys, are ready to take the first M1 hit. What they're not ready for is to lose the flashlight and then have to go pick it up. And like Lightborn, just in terms of protecting against blinds, is he could be better than uh, Franklin's because flashbangs can't get you with it, where flashbangs could get a Franklin's user. I prefer Franklin's because it also gets rid of medkits. All you got to do, say someone has got 16 charges on a medkit, you hit them with the Franklin's, the medkit sucks now. I mean, that is on top of the value you get with the flashlights. Uh, I just don't get it. And Wesker, I mean, am I missing something here with the hooking? Like the actual hooking they say is 32%? Like if you're hooking, you're hooking. It's like maybe it was a faster hook and the guy that failed with the flashlight save is zero point 0.5 meters closer to you. It's really minute, dude. It is really minute. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like trying to see what that would even do. And I would say behavior. You I know what Forever Entwined should do. I do. I feel strongly about this. They need to start seeing things that worked in their events. I'll give you an example. In 2v8, it is they also did this in an event. They did this in an event, and they did this in the 2v8. Killer picks up Survivor, boom, throws them on does like a 3-pointer hook instead of a dunk. Goes like this, and then the person appears on the closest hook. Dude, now I don't think you would. I think it would be broken if Forever Entwined did that every hook. But what if you did it on a token system? You made it like the old coup de grace, where every time someone did a gen, you get a Forever Entwined token, and a Forever Entwined token, someone goes immediately there. That's saving time. In fact, if someone goes to a dead zone and you have Forever Entwined, or if you have these sneaky Pete's that do these builds where they go into the corner and they have like boil over and like flip flop and all this crap, it ain't going to work with Forever Entwined. In fact, when they had the events, people were noticing that it was definitely an answer to that. I think Forever Entwined, get rid of this crap. Get rid of, like, Fire Up sucks anyway, and I find it really funny some people in the community are trying to make Fire Up look like it's okay. It's not, dude. It's a far worse version of a shitty perk. Like, at least Fire Up gives you braking speed and gives you vaulting speed. That's okay. It makes Fire Up not the worst perk in the game. This is like, why would you run this? Yeah, I mean, people talk about meme builds. I've seen people talk about meme builds, and then it's an actually okay build, like the Trapper Goalie build. It's actually run that build. It's sure a meme build, sure. And you're gonna kill people. You are gonna kill people like it ain't getting out of fashion, man. This, what kind of meme build would you do with this? Like Fire Up and what? What is it, like Agitation, Iron Grasp, Forever Entwine, and Fire Up? It's like the world's most worthless build. Like if you actually were um looking for value. So it's like, I don't know, chat. I mean, what do you think about that? None are free. Should make it when you pick up people, the timer stops. Because my experience with none are free is you get value and then you're hooking someone and the perk's done with. It might at least get you one or two more events of value. Hex Nothing But Misery, you got to cut the 8 times into 4 times. Because I am telling you, this perk has potential. It is practically an end game. It's a non-official end game perk. It takes so long to do it. I just gotta wonder how much they actually tested this perk. Did they really want it to be like 1 gen is left when they do this? This perk at best feels like win more perk. At worst, it just feels like never get the value. And then, like I said, Pentimento can't guard this perk very well because by the time you proc it, if it gets cleansed, all the gens are almost done or done. I really feel like, though, if you just made it 4 times, you would at least double or triple the amount of times that you got to use this perk. And God, if you made it 4 times, maybe Pentimento could help you out. You know? It's not strong enough as Noed to constitute being able to be cleansed this easily without getting value. Easy fix. None are free. Stop the timer when you pick somebody up. Easy fix. Hex Nothing But Misery. Make it 4 times instead of 8 times. That's the simplest. That's the simplest one. Forever Entwined. So not enough people complained about how bunk this was. Do you guys remember originally Wicked? Do you guys remember this? I'm going to look it up in a second. Sable had a perk that it was like mending deep wound was faster or something like that. Do you guys remember that? And it was, people complained how useless it was, and they changed it to something that people actually like. They changed it to a pretty viable, good perk. Not enough people complained. This is just no one. I'd be shocked. I could be proven wrong. No one is going to use this. Nobody. The memeiest of the meme builds is what this perk is. Are we sure that this isn't less value than Hangman's Trick, which everybody ridicules, is now a Scourge Hook, and people still think it's just as bad as it used to be? I don't think. I think this is worse than Hangman's Trick. I really do. So the easy fix for this perk is to make it do the when you pick someone up and you hook them, you do it in air and it goes to the closest perk. They've already done this. It worked. Killers loved it. It's a good answer for certain things for survivors. It would have value. Every time they do a gen, you get a token. A token, you put someone on a hook in the air where you stand to the closest hook. It would people would love it. I think it would be balanced. I really do. I think it would be strong. And I think if you made it on a token system similar to the first coup de grace, I think it would do something good there. Yeah. The actual hooking part, it's like actually perplexing to me. Like 32%. Let's let's see something here. DBD. How long does it take to hook somebody? Oh, no, not hook duration. Let's actually do the math here. This might actually be really comical. The longest hook animation? Is this like a glitchy thing or something? It looked kind of laggy, didn't it? Does this look like. Yeah. Okay, look at this. Okay. What is the time there? Right there. One at 1 second. A second. Like give or take a second. Okay. 32%. So like zero point 0.3 seconds on this? This is max? Can you actually notice that? Could that actually even translate into anything practical in the game? I mean, dude, remember when the old Nemesis Liquor Tongue add-on? Old version. What does Liquor Tongue do add-on for Nemesis? I bet you. What's this guy's name? This guy's actually. Oh, no, that's not him. Let me see something. Okay. Okay. Was this? Yeah. God, was that really 7 months ago? Holy shit, time flies, doesn't it? Okay. Anyway, according like the original version of it, it did actually nothing. In fact, some people noticed that it was like barely even noticeable. Now, like 0.3 seconds to hook someone, I don't even know if anyone could notice it. It reminds me of old Nemesis add-on. This needs a buff or a rework. Like I know there's gonna be this huge trash bin of perks that no one uses, but can we like at least try to make some of the trash bin perks like semi-usable? Like as a consumer of the game DLC too. I mean, I like Kaneki. I think he's great. I think he's awesome. I like Hex Nothing But Misery and None Are Free. I think they have potential, but when you buy the DLC, you get the perks and you get the killer with the killer abilities. Sometimes you don't really play the killer a lot, but you really like the perks. And sometimes you like the perks, you don't like the killer. Vice versa, basically, is what I'm saying. It's kind of at least not just have dog water perks like Forever Entwined. Like we could do better than that. Make it those air hooks that we saw in 2v8 and we saw in another mode. Make it the air hooks. Make it like God, if you wanted to be really cool, you know how there's perks that have animations? Like Chemical Trap. You see the trap on the pallet, and then you kick it and it explodes, and the killer looks icy. They spent some real like time on that. You know, it'd be cool. Why not? If you could do animations like that, like the knee high when you do like dramaturgy. Why don't you do something like it does a pyramid head cage? That would be cool. Give like an equivalent to a cage. Forever Entwined. Look at the art. You could make the cage look like the tails there. I think that would be really workable to me. And I know that as a business, that behavior has to balance out how much manpower they do with how much profits they make. But we've seen them put a lot of work into perks before. So like even though the perk kind of flops and it's not usable, potential energy from Vittorio. It's a really good example of a perk where it doesn't really work, but they put an animation there. The animation where he's just, and it's got that like glyph looking thing over the gen that looks a lot like Full Metal Alchemist kind of like aesthetic because he's kind of a like an alchemy wizard or something. Like Vittoria was kind of a wizard or like an alchemist or something. Like that was cool. Like let's make a you. I mean, they're not going to do it now. The chapter's already out, but I think it would have been cool, and maybe they could think about this in the future. Is make an animation where they're in like a pyramid head like cage from being air dunked and auto hooked, and then they go across the map. You know, one of the cool things about that pyramid head ability is it makes it where you can't tunnel someone as well. You could make it less problematic for the game and have value simultaneously. Let's see. Oh, I want to talk about another thing with DBD real quick. So I've noticed people go, here's the question in the community. This is what I've noticed. And you guys can tell me if I'm reading this wrong or not. The question that the community asking is will or should the ghoul be nerfed? That's the question that people are asking. Should the ghoul be nerfed? I think that it's close, but I still think it's the wrong question. I think the question is how should the ghoul be nerfed? I've heard a lot of should it. People say it's strong because of this. You get this free first hit. Blah 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 blah. Guys, and I've heard other people say, "Oh well, Blight gets free downs. This guy gets a free first hit with Mend." Really? No, no, no. Guys, I think we know. I think we all know in the heart of our hearts that he needs a nerf. It's not should he be nerfed. I don't think that's the question. How is the very important question. How will he be nerfed? Because you can over nerf this guy and disappoint the fans and the people that use him. I played against a Chucky who was prestige like 50. And I played against this prestige Chucky who was like 50 about 2 weeks after his massive nerf. The people were like, why is he going tortoise speed when he used the slice and dice? Chucky players were, it was almost like a bucket of cold water was like splashed in their face. And they were, and this guy played so toxic. This guy was kebabbing people on hooks. This guy was walking back and forth on bodies. You know what kind of middle finger he was showing everybody. This guy, it was making me laugh. Like I don't take the game personally. People playing toxic. I think it's kind of funny, to be honest. This is my sixth sense of humor. But I think I got it. I think I got why he was hitting people on hook. This guy had prestige him halfway to max. This guy loved Chucky. Okay, he obviously played the crap out of Chucky. He got the wow, dude. Imagine playing that much Chucky and getting that kind of nerf. Yeah, he was salty. He was salty. He was just taking it out on the survivors because that's all he could take it out on. I don't blame this guy. Dude, take your rage out on me on the hook, dude. I think you thoroughly deserve some kind of outlet for having a prestige 50 Chucky and then getting that mega nerf. Here's the thing. Should he get nerfed? We know he needs a nerf. The community needs to be asking how badly do we nerf him. I do not want to see behavior over nerfing the ghoul. I don't want to see it. And I'll tell you why. Because of my experience with like the Chucky guy. You know there is a percentage of people that are loving the ghoul, dude. They're loving the screaming. They're loving the they're loving the map mobility. They're loving that free hit. They're getting really. You know that there's people out there right now that are perfecting the body blocking people from a pallet using Kaneki's ability. Now, if they over nerf him, that is not fun for these people that are really enjoying the killer. However, for the fun of the survivor, there really does need to be a solution. That's granted. How do we nerf him? How do we nerf him? Maybe making that first hit just a little less free. I've played very limited of the ghoul. But what I played is I had a blendette hiding in a bush. And when I was traversing the map next to a warm gen and I was looking for her, my mouse did the open mouth icon over her in the bush and I couldn't even see her. The hit's so free that it has like a free aura ability. People hiding, if you didn't see them with your eyes, you see them. Boom, click a button, and she does the Claudette scream, and then she's hit. The hit is a little. I think even Kaneki fans would agree. The hit is a little too free. The first hit is a little too free. Like even Legion, there is possibility to get him to not hit you with the power. But the whole concept of the Legion frenzy is to kind of get a free hit on people. This hit is freer, plus all the map mobility. Make a way, use a scalpel and not a mallet. I'm telling you, behavior likes to use mallets when they could use a scalpel. Use a scalpel and make that hit a little less free. Maybe make the mobility a little less OP. Holy crap, no one's going to deny this. This dude's mobility is freaking insane. He can monitor an area. When I played him for the little bit I did, it was at Toba. This is when the Claudette was hiding in the bush, and I got the free hit. I didn't even see her, but then the open mouth icon came up. I did it like a 3-gen. They were gen rushing. So I stayed into a lion's den, a 3-gen. Bro, I've never had an easier time monitoring a 3-gen than I did with him. Because you'd have a gen way over here. You'd have the gen way over here. He makes like a non 3-gen a 3-gen almost. Maybe like if you were on Crotus Pren or something and you had the 2 gens furthest away from each other, he couldn't do this. But man, he can make a non 3-gen look like a 3-gen. So the question is not should he be nerfed, unless you are just completely delusional and doing some cope because you're a killer main and you just love this killer and you want some OP stuff. Unless you're totally coping out on a cosmic level. We know this guy needs a nerf. How much do you nerf him? Don't over nerf him like you did Chucky. Don't over nerf Kaneki like you did Chucky. It was overkill. It was too much, guys. Make it even. Who's a killer? Who's a killer that got nerfed, but the nerf isn't too much? Could we agree maybe Wesker? His hindered got really wrecked. What was it? Let me see this. What? WikiGG. Okay, I like this site so far. So what's his hindered now? Uh the power. 2 tokens. Do they call that tokens when it's on a power? I guess, yeah. Just used to them using token as in lieu of perks. Okay. What's the? Let me try to scan. Is this affected? Where's the? Where's the hindered? Like they. Oh, is this it? Yeah. Infected survivors passively gain unless they're hooked or down. Okay, 4% hindered. It used to be 8 or 12. I mean, they really nerfed the hindered state. However, when you play him, I think most Wesker mains would agree it doesn't feel like, even though they gave him a significant nerf, I don't think most Wesker mains would say that it really affects the way that they play. They need to do something similar to Wesker, make it a significant nerf that people can feel and survivors can be happy about, but don't make it like Chucky, where like imagine if you made Virulent Bound like the same percentage decrease in his speed as they did Slice and Dice. Just imagine how effed up that would be. I really hope they don't do something like that with Kaneki. Make a Wesker nerf. Don't make a Chucky nerf. And I like if there's any Wesker mains that watch the video that I'm gonna upload on YouTube. If you disagree with that, let me know if you think that the nerf was actually more significant than I'm giving it credit for. But I don't think the Wesker nerf was that bad. Let's see. More DBD talk? Do I have anything else to say? I do have one more thing to say about DBD. And it's pentimento. the change coming up. Uh, like, first of all, I've noticed that behavior has been a little bit more ambiguous with the numbers that they're going to put out on perks before they put them out. They said they're only get each totem, each stack of pentimento, each totem rekindled is going to be X% of gen blocking. I gotta ask, are we talking 5, 10, or 15? That's a big, big deal. If it's 15, you're looking at 75% repair bonus reduction if all 5 are done, which it takes a lot to get all 5. So, and because it's incremental and because you wouldn't get this all the time, I would find that fine. It's not going to be 15. Oh, and by the way, it can't physically be 20. That would mean all the totems are blocked. And they said all the totems are blocked at the end of this version of pentimento. It can't be that because it would be 100% repair regression. I was making a joke with Wesker, like, what are you going to do? You got to, like, a commodious toolbox so you can actually slowly do it. It can't be 20. 15, I don't think they're going to do. I want it to be 15. 10, look, if you got 2 totems, it's 20. It's 30 currently. An M1 killer with no mobility. A no mobility. It's not M1 killer. A no mobility killer because Sadako's an M1 killer and she doesn't like fit this description of what kind of killer I'm talking about. A no mobility killer couldn't do it with 10. 5%, it's garbage. It's forever entwined. It'll be in the garbage heap along with relentless and forever entwined in Hangman's Trick. 10 iffy, 15 actually usable, but I don't think they're gonna do it. 1 is just it's garbage. It's kind of like what they did to Ultimate Weapon. It'll be garbage. Really, if they made it 3 though, it's usable. I think the big 75% though will keep them from doing it, but they're not considering how hard it would be to get it at 75%. Like anybody that's done the challenge to try to max pentimento could tell you how difficult it is to do. So I don't think they're realizing how difficult it is to do matches the value. But here's why this change is bad. Because it's not just about pentimento. It's about hex builds. And when I run a hex build, and I don't know if other people have noticed this, if you don't run pentimento with a hex build, you are flirting with RNG totally destroying you. So, like, let's say I have Devour, but then I also do these other things. I do I'll do lethal, I do barbecue, and I do like, oh shit, corrupt or something. Okay, dude, how many times have you had it? With the first 15 seconds, they cleanse the totem. It happens constantly. Without pentimento, now say you got pentimento and you got Devour. Okay? And then you use corrupt or lethal, whatever. Okay, they cleanse the totem. It just started. It just started. You're not going to get the insta downs on 3 tokens of Devour. But now you got 30% reduction on repair. It didn't waste. Your Devour was not wasted. If they over nerf pentimento too much, it doesn't nerf pentimento. Well, it nerfs pentimento. Largely, the significance is you are nerfing. You're nerfing hex builds. The only thing left for people with hexes is to interrupt the totems. That's the only thing you have left. Now you're asking for gameplay that is on the verge of being kind of toxic. And I'll give you an example of this. I'll give you an example. So you run Doctor. run 2 calm add-ons. Run calm, purple calm, run yellow calm. Use distressing, use thrill of the hunt, use devour, use what's the Dracula perk? I want to actually be able to, in case anybody watches the video on YouTube and be like, that he said that one perk, I actually want to try this out to see if it's useful. Dominant. Okay, check this out. This is what they're causing. Like, the only solution for getting rid of pentimento is creating this monster. You take Doctor. You take Dominance. You take Thrill of the Hunt. You take Distressing. And then you take Devour. And then you take the 2 calm add-ons. Oh my god, and then take him to Gideon, dude. Take him to Gideon with this shit. Well, I'd say take him to Larry's, but I hate playing Larry's as killer for some reason, but some of that might be skill issue. I play on controller, and the analog, you can't make those tight turns when you're walking in and out of these rooms, but that's another story. Use an appropriate map, do all this. My god, they will never cleanse, devour. You got 3 hooks to do, and it doesn't matter where you travel when you leave that hook. You are gonna get devour 3 stacks. Watch. Because dominance, that 16 seconds, and check this out. 16 seconds is long enough that within the duration of your static blast, you are going to use that static blast. You are either going to see them on the totem or you're going to see them loitering on the totem, and then you could go take care of the guy. I mean, dominance, thrill of the hunt, distressing, and devour with Doctor and 2 calm add-ons. Well, with 2 calm add-ons and distressing, by the way, you are going to knock people off those totems every single time. You are going to do it. I've tested this enough to know it's really difficult for them to do this. This is the monster they're creating by getting rid of pentimento. Because I would usually find it more fun to do like pentimento and devour. And I think I've talked to survivors. Wesker agrees with me here that you would rather have it where you could get a pentimento stack against you than have devour. It's almost like an agreement between survivors and killers. You could take my devour right now, but you're going to have to deal with pentimento. I think the perk is far more fair. I think the perk is very fair currently. I think it's very strong, but it's strong for a reason. If you respect and want the game to have variety, if you want the game to have any variety at all, you gotta be able to facilitate that using perks. By taking pentimento, you are now narrowing how you can do hex builds, and a lot of that's going to have to do with screams. A lot of that is going to do with stuff like, do this, play pig, play kind of a hit and run style. Check this out. I'll show you the pig one where when they take away pentimento, here's another one you could do for. Here's another one you could do for the answer. Let's see. Where's the add-ons on here? Add-ons for Jigsaw's baptism? What is that? Do they have something for that on all of them? Okay, here's what I use. I'll use videotape, and you use this rule set number 2. Now they all have a massive slowdown at the beginning. Really good survivors are not going to pop a gen until everybody has dealt with the videotape. And because you have rule set number 2, they'll all have to deal with the mask before they could see the aura. You're dealing with a good amount of time here. Now, if you have Hex Face the Darkness, you could do a hit and run strategy. Maybe you could use Sloppy Butcher with this. You hit the first person, maybe use a Lethal Pursuer to make this really quick. You hit the person. Now everybody is screaming. Everybody's screaming X amount of time. It's going to interfere with this process of using videotape. And it's going to interfere, more importantly, when we're talking about this, with, like, say, cleansing a totem. So not only does it protect its own self, Hex Face of Darkness protects itself by making people scream if they're trying to cleanse it. You also have it where it would protect like a Devour. And if you add that with Thrill of the Hunt, what would be a good build there? Like Thrill of the Hunt. Well, you couldn't do the Lethal Pursuit. Let's just say Thrill of the Hunt, Hex Face the Darkness, Devour, and Sloppy Butcher. Oh, and the screaming would interfere with heals. See, they're basically, by them killing pentimento, they are making it where they're making it very, very easy to get people off cleansing totems builds. You know, there's other ones. You could use Distressing and Infectious Fright and kind of stay around the radius of the totem. They may be creating a monster here because most people, most killers know through experience that if you just say, "Oh, I feel like having a hex perk," I'm gonna put on Devour. I'm gonna put on, crowd control. They know what happens. If you got crowd control by itself, Devour by itself, they know what happens. It's gonna get cleansed. You got the thing about Hex in the current state. The thing about Hex builds is you got to strategize or use abilities like Doctor can use ability for in order to accommodate the Hex working to facilitate it. It's more complicated builds. Pentimento used to be the one that I think it was actually one of the more fairer ones to do. Like, I could do crowd control with Bubba, right? And because Windows is his bane. And if someone just takes it off the first 10 minutes, well, now I have a pentimento stack. It's okay. He's not necessarily the best one for that because he has low mobility, and sometimes you have to travel across the map to rekindle totems, but you understand what I mean. I think that they're going to accidentally open a can of worms by thinking that they're causing an issue with a problematic perk. They're going to find the real problem is not having the perk. Because either you're going to reduce the fun of your game by people not using hex builds at all, or you're going to create a monster. And if someone said, Alucardbatz, I want to win. My next round, I want to win. That's it. That's it. I just want to win. I'll show you what you do. And tell me you didn't win. I would actually love that. Please do one round of this and tell me in the comments if you won or lost. Like, in all honesty. You do? Where's my dude here? Where's my dude? Where's my add-on? Are they going to add-ons for Carter Spark? I didn't realize that they had like a title on the add-ons. It was like the Journal to Jigsaw, and this one's like Carter Spark. That's really interesting. I didn't know that existed. Okay, what do you do? I want a win. I want it today, right? Give me that win. It's like Stephen Baldwin. Give me the effing win, you C-S-er, Emmer, effer. Okay, you get Calm. This is your first add-on. What's it do? Increases your terror radius by 8 meters while Static Blast is ready. It's very much like Monitor and Abuse. When it's not ready, it's -8. Okay. When you are ready for static blast, which is your whole terror radius, it's +8. Okay. You go to. I think the next is yellow. Yeah. 6. So what do we have here? We have 14 meters. Okay. Think of the. It's think of the. Think of the average meters. You know. Uh. So you add that. You add that many meters. And now you add distressing. Distressing got a buff recently, by the way. I don't know if I think a lot of people missed the distressing buff. So it was the survivor perk, wasn't it? Like we were gonna live forever, something like that. They gave blood point bonuses. They took off the blood point bonuses, gave it a buff. They did thrill of the hunt, gave it a buff, took off the blood point bonuses. Distressing, gave it a buff, took off the blood point bonuses. Thrill of the hunt became a community wide thing. It still still talks about how Thrill of the Hunt had a super buff and is like actually worth running now. Distressing on the Doctor after the buff with calm add-ons is incredible, dude. I think it's actually trolly too. When you spawn into the map, I am relatively certain that there's most of the time the survivors are spawning into your terror radius. And I actually kind of know that they do because I'll do the static blast and I'll get screams. Only one time, I think, I only got 2 or 3 screams. Most people, when you use this build, they will be within your terror radius and you will make them scream. Now, add on dominance. Blocks a totem when they try to cleanse it for 16 seconds. Add devour. Add thrill of the hunt. Dude, they're not they're not taking the totem off. You got 3 hooks and you're good to go. You got instant downs the rest of the match. That's what I would say. You want to win? You're a playing killer. You're frustrated. You want to win. Play doctor. 2 calm add-ons. A map that is like a map like Dead Dog or Gideon's that's condensed. Gideon's might be good too because he's got pallet ability, anti loop ability with the static shock, static blast. Okay, you got the 2 calm add-ons, a map offering, distressing, thrill of the hunt, dominance, devour. I do it. Do it and comment. Play that one time and tell me if it was a win or a loss. I feel like one of the things that makes the game not balanced is because, yeah, both sides have strong stuff, but sometimes the killer, dude, you just find the thing that wins. It can be very easy with killers sometimes to just find almost like the hack build. Or like watch Lilith Omen. Oh my god. I don't need to introduce Lilith Omen because anybody that is like super into DBD knows this dude will get you. He typically does not kick gens and he does not use typically he will not use gen defense unless he's trying to go for a win streak. But dude, this dude is impossible, man. I mean, it's one of the things that's kind of imbalanced about the game. Like his killer, you can find like a I'm gonna win all the time hack. All the time meaning, if you win one time out of 100, I still count that. Oh yeah, by the way, this dude wins so much and is so good, he got banned, and they said it was for doing like exploits or something. Like people kept reporting him because they thought that he was cheating. he's so good because Blight is so good, and he's so good with Blight. He's like I'm not gonna say mastered because I've heard it. He's very humble. He'll say, "I still haven't mastered it. I'm still finding little tiny nuggets to improve my game with Blight." But yeah, for me, I can't play Blight like this guy. I play on console. For me, I gotta play someone like Doctor if I'm gonna win. So if anybody wants to get an insured win, maybe that's bold. Tell me if I'm wrong. This is why I want to see people actually in comments tell me if they got a loss. But Doctor, two calms, map offering that is worthy of it, distressing, dominance, thrill the hunt, devour. Tell me you got a loss. And I mean, don't play stupid. Play to the build. Use your brain when you play it. Okay, let's see.